Okay, y'all, so we on day 2 of filming the eyeshadow palettes because I have that many. But as y'all saw in the parts, a lot of them are for reference. Now when it comes to drugstore, I will be obviously more cutthroat because realistically, you know, this is a luxury makeup channel. I do review mid-tier, high-end, and everything in between, just because, especially because the way the economy is now, everyone can't necessarily afford to buy all this expensive ass shit. So when it comes to this one, I do keep stuff for reference, but since it's so affordable, a lot of times I'll just, you know, excuse me, pass along. So we're gonna start off with this. This is the Naughty palette. I actually got this because Karen Harris kept raving about it. She said all her friends were raving about it, and so she tried it in a video, and I really like the red look she did with it. So I'm sorry, it's okay, it's hard to, and then it won't, okay, I was about to say it won't fold all the way back, but here we go. I'll try to give y'all an idea what it looks like. This is what the majority of the palette looks like. So anyway, I'm going to keep this one just because the formula is really nice. You can currently get it on sale right now for like, I think it's $11, and then if you use Trimwood's code, it'll be like $10. And the palette was like $28, $29 when it first came out. I bought it when it was still holiday time, then it was first out, but I didn't pay the regular price. Because with drugstore stuff, you can always, or affordable things, you can always use the coupons at also. So this is the Beach Days palette from Cara Beauty. I really like this brand. Some of you all told me I turned you on to it and you found it at TJ Maxx, so I'm glad you did, girl. Scoop it up because their formula is actually pretty nice. These fucking pressed glitters though, y'all already know how I feel. No, say no to pressed glitters. Like they tell you to say no to drugs, say no to pressed glitters. Just no, just stop putting them in my palettes. Do like Nobble and make a separate palette, because all of us don't want that. I want the shades that I can actually blend out, not some glitter that's just wasting space in my palette. So anyway, this palette is nice. It's not as good as the Life of the Fiesta palette. That's the best one they have as far as I'm concerned when it comes to formula. This is a super stunner. I'm going to go ahead and keep it though, just because, you know, I like to have brands for reference. So this is the other one. I like the color story of this one as well, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it. I wish the ColourPop ones were the same size as these though, just so I could like switch out some ColourPop shades in them, but you know, gotta be different. So this is trending in Tokyo. This formula isn't as good as the formula in the blueberry muffin and the avocado toast and the mimosa palette. I actually meant to bring the mimosa palette here to leave because like I told y'all, summer is coming and we will be staying here for the summer, so I need to bring more palettes I actually truly love. I'm going to go ahead and hold on to this though because I feel like it's a good colorful palette for the price range. This is I think $16, and like I said, y'all can use coupons also, so I think I waited till they had put it on sale and then I used the coupon on top of it, so I didn't pay that much for it. This one I think I paid like $6 or $7 for because it was $8, and then you got a percentage off when you use the coupon from Ulta, of course. So this is Summer in Saint Tropez. Although y'all know I don't like this palette, like it's not inspiring to me at all. To me, this is a poor man's version of the Riviera palette from ABH. So if you couldn't find that one at TJ Maxx and you wanted a color story that's similar, I would recommend this for that purpose. But neither one of them inspired me to do anything, so yeah. But I'm holding on to it for references and showing how BH's formula changed. Because you've noticed I only have 3, and the really good formula is the Christmas palette. So obviously soon you won't be able to buy the Christmas palette. I just like this palette, and that's why I'm holding on to it, because you can't get this one anymore either. This is Hot Heat. This is Aloha Vibes, if I remember correctly. Yes, this is Aloha Vibes from LA Girl. You see what it looks like on the inside. Of course, we know why I want to keep it. It has blues, it has purples. The matte tones is in their palettes. If you all remember the video, I said I feel like they're never deep enough for people my skin tone. And if they are, it's like that's cool for outer V work, but otherwise it's like I don't have a matte to blend in the crease or anything, because this one's too light and I feel like this one is a little too light and it doesn't go with the rest of the story of the palette in my personal opinion. But I do like the shimmers in here. I feel like LA Girls shadows are slept on though, because they have a lot of nice shadows like this Artistry palette. I really like this palette as well. This is what it looks like on the inside. You can get this one at CVS right now. So if you're a CVS shopper like I am, you can go to CVS, use a 40% off coupon they emailed you, sis, and you can have you a lovely drugstore palette that doesn't cost that much. Because I think this is, I think it might be like $15. Don't quote me, but with the 40% off coupon, that'll bring it down to almost half the price. And then if you have free money on top of it, like the palette would be like maybe $5, $6, and it's originally like a $15 palette. So I think it's definitely worth trying out for that price. This is the Mastery palette. Yeah, this one is at CVS as well. So this one and the one I just showed you, the Artistry, both of these are at CVS. You'd think that I like this one better, but I actually don't, because I feel like a lot of the tones in here don't necessarily go with my skin tone, and I'm not really that true on berry, and I feel like this is more berry than mauve toned in my personal opinion. I don't like this one that much, so I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of this one and just keep the artistry one. So you see, I told y'all this is the drawer we're going to be getting rid of stuff, so this one finna go. And it's not because the quality's bad, it's just more at the end of the day the color story doesn't necessarily work for me. Now I'm tied on this Breaking Free palette because I did a look with this, and it, I commented on LA Girl's page, and they actually went on my page, liked my look, and told me it looked pretty. So it's like, to me this is more like a nostalgia thing, because I don't, again, like I said, the mattes don't ever run deep enough. There's this black matte in the corner. This one isn't even that dark. I can put that in the crease because it's not dark enough for the outer V, so I'd have to mix it with the black, and then it wouldn't give me a color I necessarily feel like I would like. So, but because they commented and liked my picture for this, I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. So it's just more like a nostalgia palette for me. Next, I have some old, what are these? Bad Habit, before Bad Habit was Bad Habit Skin. So this is what it looks like. It's this Fantasia palette. This is a dupe to the Tropic palette, and this is why for the long time I didn't own the Tropic palette, because this actually works better than the Tropic palette. So how about that? And it was only like, I want to say it was 15 bucks. So I don't hold on to this one just because I really like it. This is the Divine palette by Bad Habit. I like this one because it is a dupe for the Star palette, and I've been wanting the Star palette forever, but I just don't want to pay the price the Star palette costs, especially because it looks kind of boring. I mean, this looks boring too, but this was only like, I think 15 bucks again. So I'll keep the $15 boring looking palette. And aside from that, I have the gold palette, which has a lot of pretty much the same tones, and since berry tones again aren't really my cup of tea, not that neutrals are, but the gold palette does have pops of other colors and unique chromes to them. So we're going to keep both of those. These little hip dot palettes down here. Sorry, you can't see them. This is the Opulence palette. Yeah, so this is just an all shimmer palette. I had wanted to try hip dot, so I got this one. And then I got the Zion mini palette, because I think these were like 2 for $10 or something like that on their website, because they were trying to phase them out. So that's how I first tried hip dot. I really like this palette. But since I have a bigger hip dot palette you all saw me do a video on, I think it's called Flower Burst, we're going to get rid of both of these because I don't need these and that. So those can go. See, I told y'all I would get rid, it's easier for me to get rid of drugstore stuff than it is high-end stuff. So this is the Alter Ego palette in Goddess. This is what it looks like. As you can see, this is a dupe for Chocolate Gold. I actually don't like this one, and I don't like the formula of the Alter Ego shadows. I think it's only one palette out of all the palettes I have from them that I like. And I'll show you that one in a second because it's right behind this one. But I'm holding on to it like for reference purposes for right now. But I do not like this palette at all. This is the one I do like. The Aurora palette. Is that how you say it? This is a dupe to the Sunrise palette. You know, the smaller one that she came out with for $65. I own that one. And this one is actually pretty good quality. I really like this one. Of course, I would like the warm tone one, which is colors that I don't normally reach for or like. But I'm going to hold on to it because it does have a formula in it that I actually like. So I'm trying to debate if I should get rid of the gold one just because I don't like the formula in it anyway. Everyone that I've seen says the Daydream palette from them is not that good quality, and I agree because I remember Makeup by Ava Marie saying the quality of this wasn't as good, and like I said, I totally agree. Plus it has plus glitters in it. The marble shimmers in here are nice. They even did like the conceal shade, but I just don't like this palette, so I keep it for reference purposes. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it because I have the Making Mauves from ColourPop with some nice shimmers in it, and then I have the Marvelous Mauve from Dose of Colors that I could use when I want to do mauve looks. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I think we're going to go ahead and get rid of the gold palette because I have similar colors in this new, what is it, Artemis palette. So these two are going to go to my cousins. I'm sure they'll be excited to try out some Alter Ego because I know they watch YouTube, so I figure that means they, you know, would appreciate it. This is the Artemis palette. As you can see, it has a lot of the same colors that were in the gold palette. Now, I do not like the formula of these shadows at all, but I'm going to try it out a little bit more before I decide if I should get rid of it or not. But the formula on this to me is horrible. And it's like I don't really like the cream shadows from Natasha as it is, and then getting this and having to try to work with it being in a lower price range. I'm not too excited about it, but again, I will try it out and see. I'm thinking about just trying to get the Metropolis palette, but I don't know because I heard Colorful Camille saying it's kind of difficult to work with, and I'm like, anybody got time for all that? I just don't. With all the shadows y'all see in this drawer and the other two drawers y'all just saw, you really think I got time for that? No, sister girl don't got time for that. Sorry. To the left of that foolishness. Anyway, that's taupe. I was excited about this one because y'all know I love me a cool taupe looking shadow. I love cool tones. So, again, what I always hate about these palettes is I always feel like the top row never works for anybody my skin tone. So it's like, it's only 9 shades in here. And I could only use 6 because, you know, the majority of it isn't going to work. So that's why I was waiting for these to go on sale. I think I get mine for like $9 or something. I don't ever pay full price for them because I know all the colors aren't going to work for me. And it's like, if it costs $12 and it's 9 shades in it and 3 of them automatically aren't going to work for me, I'll wait till it's $9. So at least like I paid $1 a shade. And then whatever shades don't work for me, it's not that big a deal. Because like these 3 just ain't cutting it. Maybe this one and maybe this one. But this one is completely out of the question. Yeah, the formula on this is actually pretty nice though. The only thing is I feel like this is a soft muted version of taupe. So it's like when I want to do a soft eye, then this will work fine. And we know I'm rarely if ever doing a soft eye. So I rarely if ever reach for this. I think I did it one time. I did a look with it and I didn't like the look that I came up with the palette. Because all you really saw was a shimmer. You didn't see any of the mattes. Because like I said, they don't run dark enough for people my skin tone. And I was just kind of like, So I'm going to try to work with it again and see how I feel about it. But I'm going to hold on to it for now. Just because I like the color story. Same thing with the Making Mauve. Same thing with this one. I feel like whenever they do these palettes lately, it's like they don't work for people my skin tone. Like again, I might be able to use this one, but like the rest of these I can't use. So of course I bought this one when it was on sale for $9 as well. Again, just because I can't use all of it. And I mean the color story is okay. I will most likely just use the mattes from my Marvelous Mauves palette. And then I'll just use some shimmers out of here. And maybe like this dark shade right here or something. I don't know. But I like the shimmer formula here. And it's not like the mattes in here are bad. It's just more of... A lot of times the color stories in the newer palettes, I feel like they aren't catering to people who look like me. Especially last year with all the palettes they came out with. I mean, a few worked for people my skin tone, but that Candy Nail was a fucking disaster. That Sailor Moon was a fucking disaster. And a lot of other palettes like Wild Nothings and all that other stuff, like a lot of that stuff didn't work for me. So, like this Aura and Out. So I just reorganized mine and made it to work a little bit better for me. I still haven't fully got done organizing all of it because I'm like, I need to get rid of this shade right here and find one that isn't shimmery. But I put a lot of the colors from the Mint to Be palette in here, and a couple of these came from what is that palette? The Mara palette. So I just kind of destroyed all my ColourPop palettes and made them into what I wanted them to be, since ColourPop wasn't making color stories I felt that would work best for my skin tone. I took it into my own hands, as Karen Harris likes to say on her channel, and I did it myself. So how about that? This is what it looks like so far, but I haven't completely finished it yet. So I told you all that in the video where I remade all my ColourPop palettes. I'll try to remember to link it up above, but yeah, that's one I'm going to keep just because I redesigned it to make it work for my skin tone, because ColourPop wasn't trying to hear it. I was like, you gonna hear me? How about that? So this is the Cloud Spun palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. I literally just popped out the glitter and put like a shimmery shade in here. I believe that's from the In a Trance palette, the tie-dye collection that they came out with, just because I didn't want the glitter in there. So it's like I already like this palette better just because the glitter that was right here in the middle is missing. I want to put a different shade in there though, like a pink single that's not like that. So maybe I'll buy the Strawberry Milkshake palette again, because I did declutter it, and then just take some of the shades out of here and switch them around to what I like better, because I feel like I want this shade to leave. I'd like a shade like this without a whole bunch of shimmer in it, and then I feel like the palette would be pretty complete and nice for me. But this is my new Cloud Spun palette, and I'm going to keep it. Next one I have is Garden Variety. I remade my Garden Variety palette again, but you can get the original one on sale for $10 from ColourPop if you're curious. This is what mine look like so far. I just added a few more browns. I still haven't found a shade to replace that one, because y'all know how I feel about shades like that, so I need to get the hell up out of my palette. I just don't know what I'm going to put there yet, and I need to figure out something to replace this one with, because I don't really like that one either. So if I can find something to replace these two, that'll be awesome, and then mine would be complete. But I'm still thinking about decluttering it, just because it's like I don't truly love everything in here. The Super Shock Shadow is kind of cool or whatever, but I'll replace these two and then try it out again and see how I feel about it. And then if I don't, then you know it'll have to go. But this is what it's looking like right now, and we're gonna keep it. So this is the Hip Dot palette I was talking about. The reason I got rid of the two small ones. This is the Flower Burst that they came out with this summer. Ooh. That's what it looks like. I really like the colors in this palette. I came up with some nice looks. I did a palette master combining this with another palette that I really liked. So I really like this palette. I was impressed with the quality and the colors that came in with it, and I want to use it some more. So we're gonna hold on to it. Now these Pat McGrath dupes I am holding on to from Bad Habit. This is the dupe to the Decadence palette, just because I know I'll most likely never bring those palettes over here. So I hold on to it for memories too, because the quality in these were actually pretty good. Now I'm not gonna say they was Pat McGrath's quality. I've heard some other people say it, but I ain't saying it, because as far as I'm concerned, it's not. Nobody can, you know, dupe mother. This is the Cult Mania palette. I mean, I feel some have come close, but nobody gonna exactly dupe Pat McGrath. This is the what is it? Bronze Seduction. Yeah, this is dupe for Bronze Seduction. This was the last one I got before, like, you know, Shop Hush closed down. I really like the color story in this palette, and it actually looks nice. So when I am in the mood to play with shades like that, and I know my Pat McGrath palettes will not be here, at least the big ones, I don't plan on ever leaving them here unless I lived here. So those are going to stay. I think I will let go of these though. So these are dupes to the Kirsten Dominique's palette. So this one is a dupe to the original Latte palette. And as you can see, mine came smashed anyway. If you all remember, like a couple of years ago, yeah, I think it was like the second year on my channel, I had ordered these to compare to my Kirsten Dominique palettes. And they came smashed. And I told C Colors that they came smashed. And they sent me 2 brand new ones that didn't come smashed. So then I just ended up giving them to you all in a giveaway. So I think I did like 3 days worth of giveaways because I kept getting stuff sent to me that was messed up or damaged, and then they'd send me a new one. So I just give you all the new ones, and I just keep, you know, the crappy ones. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this just because I don't ever use this, and I don't ever try to do dupe videos. Once I did the dupe video on it, that was pretty much it. The quality of their palettes is actually really nice though, and they have one dupe in Jackie's palette, so I plan on getting that and trying it out soon. So we'll see how that goes. This is the Unisex 5. This is a dupe for her Lemonade palette. And the shimmers in here, I feel like perform a million times better than the shimmers in hers, because hers got hard pan so quick, and they were hard in the pan to begin with when I got it brand new. So that's why I'm debating on keeping this one, but it's like I know I'm not going to reach for it. I'm just going to scrub under hers really hard and like wet the brush and make it work with hers, because I like her mattes better than the mattes in here. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one too, just because they're not really necessary. Okay, so my e.l.f. Retro Paradise, you will not take this out of my hands. This is the only e.l.f. palette I have that I actually like besides the bite-sized shadows. I actually have on the mint collection on my eyes right now. You all will see the pictures on Instagram later on today. You will not see this video anytime soon though, but you know, today on Leah's birthday, January the 16th, you will see on Instagram pictures of me wearing the Mint to Be collection, and you'll see the video for that tomorrow on the 17th. But we're going to go ahead and keep this palette because this is one of the few e.l.f. palettes I like. And I mean few, like, you know, scraping the line, very thin few. So let's go over here on the side some more. I have the Revolution Flamboyance palette. This is from their Forever Flawless collection. I love the Forever Flawless palettes. As far as I'm concerned, these are the best palettes they come out with besides collab palettes. I feel like when the collaborators come in, they make sure they give them a decent formula as opposed to whatever formula they just decide to throw in palettes right now. So, I'm going to hold on to this because if you all remember, I did a video comparing this to the Strawberry Dream palette, because I know Manny's brand has left Sephora, or I don't know what's going on with his brand being in Sephora, because it's like I haven't seen the blush palette there ever, even though Karen Harris said she bought the blush palette there. So I was confused. I haven't seen it on their website at all when you type in Lunar Beauty, and I don't remember seeing his new palette on there or like the Moon Spell palette on there. I've only seen Strawberry Dreams, and it comes in and out of sale every once in a full moon. So I'm keeping this one here for reference because I love my Strawberry Dream. If I want an alternative Strawberry Dream look, I know I can get out of this palette because I already gave y'all a whole review on it. So we're going to keep this one. Plus, I don't own that much Makeup Revolution palettes as comes to eyeshadows. I mean, I have the Chill Out one. Y'all know I love that one. That one is everything. And then I want to try the blue one that's supposed to be a dupe to the Blue Bud palette, because we all know, let's not even get into it because I'll start a rant. Then ain't got nothing to do with eyeshadow and we'll be here forever. But yeah, so they have their best formula, in my personal opinion, in these palettes when it comes to the actual Makeup Revolution. Now I know they have Revolution Pro and a whole bunch of other palettes. I haven't tried any palettes from Revolution Pro. I did try the XX Revolution, and that quad was okay. It's just more of, those quads seem to be really shimmer heavy, and I don't prefer that. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you what palette this was. This is the Birds of Paradise palette. I did not like this palette. I felt like the colors in here did not work well. I used their primer, mind you, to get the color story to blend out, and I did not like it at all. These are supposed to be like their version of Super Shock shadows. I feel like they're too soft on the eye. I just didn't like this palette at all overall, or the experience I had with it. And because you all saw I had that Trending in Tokyo palette, and then I have the Tokyo palette from Nomad Cosmetics here as well to play with. I feel like this isn't necessary, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it because I don't like it. Plus it has 2 pressed glitters, and how dare they? Like, what do all these brands not understand? We don't want your fucking pressed glitters. Please stop. This is the only palette I actually like from Profusion, and this is the Gold Rush palette. It's a dupe for like the Naked Honey, if you will. I'm trying to debate if I should keep this or not, because since I don't plan on buying anything else from the brand, because I don't like their formula, and I just don't think it's worth the price. But it's like, I know people talk about this brand a lot, so I'm thinking I might just hold on to this one just so I can have something to reference the brand by. But I hear they're like ColourPop and have a lot of stuff going in and out of stock all the time, or like discontinuing stuff. I'm trying to debate if it's even worth keeping. Plus, I told y'all I'm not going to try them anymore, so I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of it. But this is the only one that I would actually recommend you try, but we know these aren't colors I use or care about, so it can go. The other two that I have tried to like because I saw Colorful Camille with was this one right here and this one right here. So this is a neon one. The shimmers in here were terrible, and I feel like the mattes blended away to nothing. Same thing with this one. All of these mattes, although the darker ones worked okay, it's like I already have darker colors and palettes I actually like and formulas I actually like. So these two can go. I've been trying to make this brand work, but they just not for me. I can't be bothered. I guess because I'm so used to a higher quality shadow, and the fact that you have to do so much work to make their cheaper shadows work, and there are other cheaper shadows that work better that I don't have to do nearly as much work with, is like I don't want to be bothered. Okay, so we have more Bad Habit. This is the Artistry Palette. This is the dupe for the Makeup by Mario palette. And I remember Mariah Leonard saying this was like a perfect dupe for that palette. But they don't make this palette anymore. And since I never got the Mario palette, that's why I kind of just hold on to this one. So I'm going to hold on to it some more and hold it. Next, I have the Aurora palette from Bad Habit. This is a dupe for the Prism palette by what is it, ABH. I really like this palette. I actually use this one more than I did the Prism palette, but that was because I used to have to take my grandmother to church on Sundays, and I had to do my makeup here, and I wouldn't leave my, like, you know, real expensive makeup here because she still had dementia. That was before we had to force her to come move in with us. So she would go through my stuff, and I'm like, I'm not about to leave this $49 palette here for you to be bothering. So I would leave like the $10 palettes here, and then I would have to use those on the weekends because I wasn't going to bring more makeup with me like I have to do now for videos. So this just gives me memories of, you know, having to go to church and putting on my makeup. But I'm going to give this to my cousins because since she doesn't come to her house anymore, I don't have to worry about her bothering. But yeah, so I will be decluttering this one right here just because, you know, I already have the real one here. You'll see it in a second, and I don't need it anymore. So it can go to my cousins. Same thing with this Arabesque palette. This is supposed to be a dupe for Soft Glam. Believe it or not, as you can see, it has been used quite a bit. Usually when I was going to church with my grandma, and I had to rush to get her there because she would take forever. And it's like both of us can't be taking forever. So it's like I would just go ahead and, you know, take the L and do a simple eyelid because I knew I was going to have to like be trying to constantly be behind her and rushing her to try to leave because she's one of the people that take forever to do everything and wants to be important and wants everybody to wait on her and all that. So she would like take forever on purpose, and it was just a whole hot mess. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one too because I have the real Soft Glam, and I'm going to basically just bring all the ABH palettes over here because I don't really use them on my channel. Don't really talk about them. Nobody really seems to care about ABH. I guess they're in the doghouse or whatever because of the 500 palettes they came out with, and then I heard they do a whole bunch of shady stuff, and you know, like the old folks say, what's done in the dark comes to the light. So like a lot of stuff is just coming to the light on them that wasn't done before. I did get the highlight of the one. You will see that in the video just because I'm curious to see how it's going to look on some of my skin tone, because it actually looks pretty decent on Tammy Clark when I saw her Instagram video about it. But this is the original Jaclyn Hill palette. I was blessed enough to get the one where they laminate and put the things on the back, so I have to do like everybody else and have the cardboard because I had no intention on getting this palette. I think I had free money at Ulta, and then I had like, you know, they would let Morphe go underneath the coupons for discounts because they weren't prestige. Because as far as I'm concerned, we all know Morphe is the prestige. So why they tried to not be able to have coupons used on their stuff, I don't know. It's like your Morphe, your quality is trash. Why? What made you think you was about to be considered prestige at Ulta? You funny as hell. Anyway, so this palette, I ended up getting, I think, for like $10 or something. That's the only reason I got it to try it out. And I will admit the quality on this one is actually pretty decent compared to like other Morphe things I've tried. I like the Kathleen Lights palette as well, but you know, I usually buy collab palettes from them, and it has to be a person I actually like. So Jaclyn Hill is amusing to me, and I do feel like she does good recommendations when it comes to products. So, you know, I mean, now the products she makes aren't always that great, but the recommendations are good. So I figured I would try out her palette, and this one is good. Now the new one, I told y'all that one's trash. I hate it. The formula is not the same. I was lied, hoodwinked, bamboozled. And I mean, I need to try that one more time to make sure it's exactly what I think it is, but I most likely will be getting rid of that one. So this is the Wet n Wild 40 palette. It's so sad because the guy who I originally got to see this compared to James Charles palette, he died. I forgot what his name was, but he died of a drug overdose. I believe it was in 2020, or it might have been the end of 2019. I don't remember. But this is what the palette looks like. Let me back y'all up because I'll bring you up some. There we go. Okay, so this is what the palette looks like. You still don't get all of it in the frame, but I feel like I can get enough. for you to see what it looks like. I actually did a throwback even though it's not Thursday with this recently, so you all will see it in the month of February because I have pre-filmed so much till you'll see that in February. God only knows when you're gonna see this. You might see this shit in March, I don't know. Anyway, I did an interesting video on it where it was like use one row from a palette. It was like a challenge thing I came up with, so I ended up using this entire row just to make an eye look out of this palette. I really like the quality of this palette for the Wet n Wild price. I feel like it's a step above the normal Wet n Wild products that they have, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it. I got a few more palettes that we need to talk about. So let me put some of this stuff up first, and then we can talk about those lovely palettes. So I guess I'll put the Naughty palette underneath here now since I've taken these other palettes from underneath here. I wanted to play with it a little bit more. I think that's why I had it at the top, but you know, I got so many palettes to play with, and I have to order so many new palettes since new creators are coming out with palettes and all that good stuff, so I don't think I'll have time to anytime soon. So I'm gonna just put the stuff back up, child, and not worry about it. And we'll figure it out when we get there. So stacky, stacky, stacky. And there we go. So this drawer is complete. So now let us get into the other ones I want to talk about real quick. Why y'all think that? Okay, right there. So I have the Beached palette from Urban Decay. I actually liked this palette. I feel like y'all will know why I liked this palette because it has the pop of blue effect going on. And the formula is actually really nice. Unfortunately, you cannot get this palette anymore. I know they used to have it on, what is it, Nordstrom's rack for like $15 or something like that. It was $15 or $20. I like it though, so I just keep it over. I have a corner over there where I keep for reference, but that drawer is so small so I couldn't put all the stuff that I have to keep for reference. So some of it has to go with my regular makeup collection. As you all saw, there are plenty of things that I said was just for reference that I, you know, don't want to actually keep. The next one I have for reference is this Urban Decay one. Y'all remember my video on this. I keep it for reference just because people really talk about the formula of this and it's really nice. So I'll probably just hold on to it until I get like the full size at a dirt cheap discount. Then maybe I'll grab it. Because it's not like it's super bad. It's just more of, it's disappointing for what I expected it to be. Like, I feel like it's just way too sheer for what, you know, they were trying to go for. Because I feel like they were trying to do super shock shadows with, like, you know, a whole bunch of glitters and reflecting. And of course, they were Urban Decay, so they just couldn't get it right. And this is not what the business is at all. So it's just in my reference drawer. So I can have it to reference back to when, if they put any future palettes I actually want to buy. This is another Profusion palette that I held on to just to be able to compare to ColourPop. This was the only one I actually liked about the whole set, and it was difficult to work with as well compared to the ColourPop palettes that I work with and do nice looks with. I'm actually going to hold on to this one though because, you know, it's blue and it's the only Profusion thing I own. They don't make this one anymore as far as I know. I think Karen said they discontinued and it was limited edition or something like that. I don't know. But this is the only Profusion palette I can tolerate besides the Gold Rush one, and since it's blues, it just goes in the reference drawer. I have the Wet n Wild Pac-Man. This is just honestly a collector's thing for me. I love to play Miss Pac. I played Miss Pac-Man though. I didn't play Pac-Man. I played Miss Pac-Man. Let's get it right. But I like this palette, and this is what it looks like. It performed okay. It wasn't the best palette. I mean, like, it's Wet n Wild. I wasn't expecting too much. I just liked it because it was Pac-Man, and I still have like the brushes and stuff that go with that. So I'm keeping that. Of course, I'm keeping my ColourPop and My Little Pony. I remember doing an eye look with this, and Pop Sugar Beauty actually liked my eyeshadow look that I had posted on my Instagram. And mind you, I didn't even have like a beauty Instagram. Like, they just liked it on my regular Instagram. So I, you know, I really thought I was somebody then, because I had posted one of my vacation pictures from when I had took some cruise somewhere with one of my cousins one year for my birthday. So this is what the palette looks like, and I just have fond memories of it. To me, this is a more workable color story than the Sailor Moon one was. That's why I redid it, and that's why I left this one alone, because I feel like it actually works pretty well for my skin tone. And ColourPop actually cared about, you know, other people's skin tones more than up to medium tone. And lately, I feel like they've even been neglecting medium tan and just going for more like light and fair. But, you know, to each his own. This is the Shimmer Rose, Karuchi, and ColourPop She palette. Of course, I kept this one, and as you can see, I have a nice little dent in this color right here. This was my favorite color in here along with this color. These two are the ones I use the most. The mattes in here are pretty nice. The shimmers are pretty nice. I like this palette, so that is why I held on to it. and it goes in the reference drawer, because if I remember correctly, you can't get that one anymore. Don't quote me though. This is the only Tarte palette I own, and this is the only Tarte palette I will own. I really like this palette though, y'all. I can't even front. Like, they had one called High Tides and Good Vibes or something that had like a cute little color story too, but I found out those shimmery shades and they were like actually glitters, and I was like, no. This is the Make Believe in Yourself palette. The shimmers in here are so foily and nice. This is when they tried to do like the little fairy thing, because ColourPop did like the sorry, not ColourPop, Too Faced did the Lights the Festival palette, so they came with their little Make Believe in Yourself thing or whatever. But it's like, at least Too Faced is still relevant. Like, nobody talks about them at all, so I feel like Too Faced won. Just saying. But what did they really win? Because everyone clowns them too. So I don't know, but at least people still buy and clown them. They just clown Tarte and just move on. So this is the Dose of Colors Mickey Mouse collection. I got this from Diypansy, and I will forever have it and treasure it just because Diypansy gave it to me. I gave y'all a tutorial, I believe, on Instagram with it. This is what it looks like on the inside. I have not tried the highlighter. Y'all know these tones will be more my tones, and maybe that one right there. But overall, I don't know. I just would use this as a smoky palette and just use the highlighter for my face. So this would be a good palette for when I have to go out of town, so that way I can do my nice smoky eye looks. And then in the daytime, I could just use this one and run the red on the lower lash line for like a signature look for me who doesn't like really like neutrals. But you know, I need a pop of color if I'm going to do a neutral look. So it's a nice palette. It has the general Dose of Color quality. I want to get the mini one just so I can have like the little matching set or whatever, but at the same time, I'm like, realistically, I know I'm not going to use it, so there's no purpose to it. So here is the one I told you all about, the Prism palette. This is one of my favorite ABH ones when they were doing all the grungy cool color stories with the brand. So I like this one in Subculture the best. My Subculture is at home. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna bring all the ABH palettes here for the most part. The only one that gets to stay at home is Jackie and Marizzi. Everybody else get to come over here, because I feel like those are the only ones that people are still talking about now. People don't really talk about any of these anymore. I really like the color story on this. I was thinking about doing like a palette mashup with this and the Riviera one, because some of the Riviera colors I feel like would go nicely with this palette, and some of the shimmers in here I feel like would look nice with that palette. So I don't know, we'll see. That'll be a long time in the future though, because since people are starting to pop out palettes again, ain't nobody gonna have time for that. But that's just in the reference drawer. And then this last one is the Riviera palette. So this is what she looks like. Like I told you all, what is it? What is this? Summer and Saint-Tropez is the poor man's version of the Riviera palette, in my personal opinion. It doesn't have the purple. I think they substituted the purple with like a matte instead of blue shimmers or whatever. But yeah, I was not that big a fan of this one. I thought I was gonna like it more because it was color from ABH, and you know, it was disappointing. Like, I'd rather just use the Norvina Pro Pigment palettes. So I'm gonna keep it though, just because I'm one of those people that's like an ABH collector, so I have it for that reason. But it's not like, oh my god, yes, I must have it. So those are all of the eyeshadow palettes, y'all. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I need to go film the other complexion video because I still have a whole little set of foundations and concealers and stuff somewhere else, and then I'll do a separate one probably on lip products. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Okay, y'all, so I decided we should continue on with the organizing and decluttering. So what I've been doing is bringing the stuff over here just because I didn't want to have to keep moving my lighting around. So these are just some of the face palettes and stuff we're going to go over. I have individual blushes, bronzers, and highlighters as well that I'm going to try to put in this video so it can be sort of lengthy and I can get done quicker. So yeah, let's get started. So I have a few Natasha Denona palettes here, as you can see. So this is the Love palette. I love how the stuff just shakes and falls in there. But this is what it looks like on the inside. This is probably my least favorite Natasha Denona palette out of all the Natasha Denona palettes I own. Sorry, it's reflective as hell, so it's hard to like show. But yeah, so this is my least favorite one out of all of them. I do keep it though, just because I told y'all, sometimes I like to have luxury stuff here at my grandmother's house, so I leave this here to have a luxury Natasha Denona face palette. I actually have quite a few Natasha face palettes here because I have a tendency not to like them. The only one I really seem to like is the Blossom. I like this tan one, believe it or not, but I have it here because a lot of times I have to do my makeup on the weekends here. I don't get to do it at home. So I wanted to use all the products I can only use in the wintertime here, since this will be the only time I get to use them till, well, summer comes. And when summer comes, then I'll, you know, obviously gravitate toward other things. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and keep this one. I've been using it a lot, as you can see, like this pan. Well, you can't because, yeah, but this pan right here is well loved. This highlighter is pretty well loved too, and so is that one underneath it. The only thing I really don't use in these palettes seems to be the cream. Now in the Blossom palette, I'll use the cream, but in these other ones, I don't. So the next one I have is the Bronze Cheek palette. Now, everyone knows the putty products in here are absolutely horrible. I mean, they are horrendously terrible. But I do like these highlighters down here. As you can see, they are well loved. I had these on my face today. I use these highlighters pretty much every time I'm over here. Recently, I just really love the tone of combining them. I'll start off with this one, and then I'll put this one on top, and it's just like a gorgeous combination. So all of these have actually been living in the bathroom because I'm trying to keep stuff in the bathroom that I can only use in the wintertime to make sure that they go out in a timely fashion. Next, this is more of a collector's piece for me. This is the Basquiat and Urban Decay palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. I really loved this shade right here, NoHo. And the highlighter was pretty nice too. I'd use this every now and again, Jawbone, as a blush in the wintertime. But right now, I'm just keeping it for aesthetics and because I like Basquiat. So, it's just a collector's piece, if you will. Next, I have the, I need to upload this video so you all can see the e.l.f. video tomorrow. So maybe I'll go ahead and do that. No, I can't do it right this second. But next, I have the Cover FX Face Palette. This is one of their holiday palettes from a while ago, and it has like 6 different shades in it. I'm going to hold on to this because I got rid of my individual highlighter and gave it to one of my family members because she's an older lady, but she likes to have that glow from within look. And y'all know Cover FX highlighters are known for having the glow from within look. So I have 6 highlighters in here. I'm just going to hold on to this for when I want to have highlighters from Cover FX that aren't that new formula. Because I'm not that fond of the new formula. So I feel like I wouldn't... sorry, y'all. That was the new video I need to upload. The e.l.f. Cosmetics Mint Collection. I need to upload that now. First impression. And wear test. Because since I did the primer, I had to do a wear test. So I'll fix the spelling in a second. But right now, I just wanted to get it uploaded. Okay. Next, I have the Jaclyn Hill highlighter palette. So I ended up buying this off somebody on Poshmark for like 25 bucks. That's how I ended up with this in my possession. The highlighters in here actually work pretty nice. So I'm going to hold on to it. You can see me in it. I'm gonna hold on to it in my collection for right now. I know they have it for 50% off a lot of times on what is it, Morphe's website. So if you want to try it, just look out on their sales section because a lot of times it pops up, but they usually only pop up with the ones for my skin tone. And 50% off, everybody else usually like buys up the colors that they like, and they have a whole bunch left behind for people my skin tone. So I mean, if you're my skin tone, it works out for you because you get to pay 50% off. And I know one time they had an extra 30% off the sale stuff, and since her stuff was on the sale stuff, I lucked up and got that same powder that I was telling you all about I love so much that I use the NYX as a dupe for it for like 11 bucks. So check it out. This is the Sleek Makeup, what is the palette is? This is a highlighter palette in Love Shook. I like the color combination of this one. I feel like these work really well on dark skin tones. And, you know, they're cool, colorful highlighters for when I do want that effect. And I can add them to a black-owned brand video if I need to. Of colorful, fun makeup. And have a nice little pop to it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it. This one is a treasured thing to me. This is the Casey Holmes and Smashbox palette. This is the gold one. I bought both of them just because I love Casey so much. But, like, the middle shade... No, I'm sorry, the last shade, this one right here with all the glitter in it, it got hard pan on me, which was fine though, because I only used the other 2. I still reach out and use it time to time, these 2 right here. I know they use this palette format and these shades after Casey got done with the collab, but I keep mine in the original packaging because I just love Casey Holmes. So it's more like a collector's piece for me, not necessarily something I would always use. So these Smashbox palettes, I'm thinking about getting rid of this one right here, the Ablaze Face Palette. I know Ablaze was like their most popular eyeshadow palette or whatever. My problem with this is these 2 are supposed to be contours and bronzers. Who using that? I can't use that. What am I supposed to do with this right here? I usually keep it for the highlighters though and the blushes because the blushes are really nice in here. And I decluttered my Lime Prime palette, their summer face palette, because I had this palette, so I think I should just go ahead and keep it so I can have these tones. But in all fairness, e.l.f. has one like this. It's like $6. I can use, and this one is one I don't really reach for that much, so we'll put this in the we'll see pile for now. I have the Cali Kisses by Smashbox palette. I really like this one because this one actually has all tones I can use it. As you can see, I can use both these blushes. I can use those highlighters and I can use those highlighters. So I really like this one. I'm going to hold on to it. But matter of fact, we're not going to think about it. We're just going to go ahead and get rid of this one because you just saw I have plenty of highlighters I can use in another palette. If I want to do like a full face of Smashbox, if I want to just incorporate some Smashbox into my collection, I can. And I have, like I said, if I want to get a tone like this, they have a e.l.f. blush that I can get for $6 called Always Fiery. So I'm just going to go ahead and let go of that face palette. I mean, it was nice to have in my collection, but when there's one I have that I actually use better, and it makes more sense to use that one. So this is the Stilazzi Barbados Blush Palette. I really like this one because look at the tones of it. Like, I feel like all these tones just scream for my skin tone. And since I leave my OPV Beauty one at home, I like to have this one here to have a nice face palette that, you know, has summery colors in it for me to use. So I'm going to keep this. And the formulation on their powder products for the face are actually really nice. So how about that? Next, we have this Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder Palette by Essence. So I was impressed with this just because Essence doesn't usually come out with stuff that works on my skin tone too well. But I noticed they're trying to get better at it. So these two at the bottom are actual bronzers I can use. And since this was only a $10 palette, I don't really care that I can't use the two at the top. Just because, you know, it was, what, like maybe $2-3 a piece for each one of the shades in here. And then since, you know, CVS always has coupons and you can buy the CVS for $10, if you use your 40% off coupon, this palette will be like $6. So it's like the fact that I can't use two shades out of $6 palette isn't that big a deal. I really like the fact that they had a bronzer, and the formulation of the bronzer is actually nice. And when I need to do drugstore videos, I can easily reach for a face palette if I want to, or I can reach for individual ones because there are some individual drugstore ones. I think there are. I'm not sure. I know this palette is for sure. That's another reason I'm trying to hold on to it. The same thing with this highlighter palette. This I've seen at CVS, and again, it's only $10. So if you use that 40% off coupons they give you at CVS, you can get this for $6. And they have a lighter version or a darker version. Obviously, I have the darker version, but I love the color combination of this. I'm sorry if the lights are washing them out. I feel like it is, because they're much darker than I'm seeing them on camera right now. Let me see. If I turn down these lights, will it? Okay, so I'm pressing the lights and nothing's happening. So maybe I should... Oh, maybe I should make it warmer. Yeah, so I feel like when it's warmer, it's giving you more of a true color of what they look like. Because they look more like that than they did the other one. Hold on. Yeah, right there is perfect. So that's what the colors more truly look like. They still don't look exact. I don't know what's going on with the lighting. I turned it down, but it's as low as it'll go, I'm assuming, because I pressed the Glamcore light button to lower down the brightness of them, and I'm thinking it's at its lowest brightness, so sorry about that. This is the Huda Beauty 3D highlighter palette. I have the, I forget, I think it's Bronze Sands. Yes, this is the Bronze Sands edition. This is the one Kirsten Leanne got herself told off about by Jackie Aina, because they had showed, well, Huda had showed swatches of this on people with lighter skin tones, and she was complaining, talking about how she couldn't even use the product, so there was no point in them swatching on them. And you know, Jackie got on her immediately, because it's like they show swatches of stuff that's ashy on black people all the time, and she don't have nothing to say then. And now that I think about it, this one looks really close to the one that I just showed you from Essence. Like, the colors on here are pretty similar. So I'm trying to debate, do I need the Essence one? But I feel like it'd be a good, what is it, main chick, side chick thing. Now, obviously, it doesn't have the glaze one in there, but we're going to actually put both these to the side because I need to do a main chick, side chick video, and I have a box in the corner, so I'm going to add it to that, and when we just found another main chick, side chick. How about that? Hell! Next, I have the Better Not Bitter palette. It's Coffee and Cocoa palette from Beauty Bakery. I remember having this. I dropped it, and so this shade I had to smush back in. I think they're discontinuing this palette because they came out with those 3 palettes. But I mean, I liked the highlighters in it. My only thing was this was supposed to be a bronzer, and it's like I can't bronze with that, or at least that's the way the palette was explained to me. I'm hoping it was just supposed to be an under eye thing, and I misunderstood what it's meant for, because I'm like, that to me that's not bronzing a lot of brown people, and this supposed to be a black owned brand. So how am I supposed to bronze with it? I don't understand. But anyway, I like the highlighters in here, so I'm going to keep it. Plus, I like having black owned brand things around to reference. But I don't know how much longer that's going to get to stay around. Because like I said, I think they're discontinuing it. So that's going to be a no-go for me. This is the Rose palette from Bad Habit. When Bad Habit wasn't Bad Habit Skin. Or Bad Habit Makeup. This is supposed to be a dupe for the... What's the girl's name? Nicole Guerrero highlighter palette. I actually used the crap out of this more than I used her palette. But remember, I told you all in the other video with the eyeshadows that my grandmother... I'm sorry, that was this video. But I told you all that my grandmother like went to bother my makeup and stuff, and that was like a $50 palette that was hard to get your hands on. So the last thing I want to do is have her bothering it. So I would leave this over here, and then on Sundays I would have to use this one instead of my nice stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually declutter this one just because, you know, I obviously don't need it anymore. I have the real Nicole Guerrero one, and I haven't reached for this highlighting sequence or a highlighter palette in ages, so I don't really need it, and I can let it go. So, as usual, we're doing terrible at decluttering things, but that's okay, because, you know, I said organize and declutter for a reason. We're just kind of organizing the highlighters I have and letting me know what I have versus what I don't have and what I need and what I don't need. So, this is the XX Revolution palette. This is the one when they tried to do the Hourglass palette, since Hourglass still hasn't made any for brown people, even though they came out with that one. Even though they came out with that one pretending like it was for people that look like me, but, you know, it clearly doesn't, because all of the shades are repeat shades, and if you already had these shades out and people were telling you that it didn't work, it still doesn't work just because you're trying to make it work. It's like Fetch. Stop trying to make it be a thing. It's not a thing. You're not inclusive. We need to fix it or just go sit down somewhere. Anyway, this is what their palette looks like. I don't like the blush in here because it's too bright. Neon MUA, he was talking about that too. I feel like the contour in here is too dark for my liking. And then this highlighter, it's a nice color, but I don't know who came up with this color combination for this palette, but I do not like it at all, so I will be decluttering it. It's not that the formula isn't nice, it's just I don't like the color combination of this. And since you all see the amount of palettes I have, it's not a necessity that I keep it, so I'm not going to. Hopefully they'll come up with some more in the future for skin tones like me that I will actually like, but I'm going to give it to my cousin's grandmother, because she can definitely use that palette, because she is darker than I am, and I feel like she will love that blush in there, even if she doesn't use the highlighter or the contour. So this is a Jouer face palette. This is the Coquette one. This is my favorite one out of all of them. I feel like you can tell why. Like, this shade right here just tells you everything you need to know about why I like this palette. I don't really care for this shade right here. I'll usually mix it in with this one. This I should probably actually have out so I can use in the winter time, especially that shade right here, because that's the only time I'll be able to use it. And I'll probably still have to mix it in with this one, but I like the formula of their blushes. I'm trying to debate if I should keep this or not though, because remember you all saw that other blush palette when I originally did my organization video. Part one. Matter of fact, let me pull out that palette so we can compare it, because I might just get rid of that one since I have a full on other palette now. So remember, I have this one here as well, but the colors in it don't look exactly the same. Like, those look like lighter versions of it, and remember, this is a bronzer and that's a highlighter. So I think we can go ahead and keep it because they don't look similar enough to me. But what do you all think? See, yeah, I don't think they look the same, so we'll just go ahead and keep both. And I'll just add that one back to this drawer so I remember where the Jouer products are, since I only have 2 of them. And then we can, you know, reach from here when it's time to use them. So, I have this XX Revolution Cream Blush Palette. I bought this to see if it would be similar to some of the Fenty Cream blushes I already have, but I prefer my Fenty formula over this one, and I only used it in that video and I think like one other time. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this because it's not really necessary. So let's get rid of that there. So I'm getting rid of a little bit more than I expected to. I have this Flower Beauty highlighter palette. This is the one she made for darker skin tones. When she first came out with it, remember, it was like the pink one and then like a champagne looking one. And then I think it was like one gold one like this one right here. So this one is geared more toward people my skin tone. And I actually like the formulation of this and think it's pretty nice. And since now Flower Beauty is at CVS, I feel like it'll be a helpful palette for me to have. And I'm trying to have a little bit more drugstore so that when I do need to pull out drugstore for videos, that we'll have something to pull from. So this is the Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl Emulator. So this palette has like basically all their popular highlighters in it. So this is Peach Glow. This is Gilded Honey that Desi Perkins used to talk about all the time, I'm told. And then this one is, I think, Ballerina. So I like Gilded Honey, and so I bought this little face palette because I felt like it would be quite helpful. There used to be a sponge in there. One day I came in my room and my grandmother was, you know, using the sponge and dipping her hands into my stuff, and so I had to throw the sponge away because it wasn't like it really needed anyway, so it wasn't that big a deal. So I just threw it away and went on with life. But I'm going to hold on to this just because I don't want to have to buy Gilded Honey separately, and why should I when I have a whole palette already ready? So these are the last two palettes we have. These are the last two face palettes I have here. I got these when they were like 40% off. I don't know what this stain is on here. I keep trying to scratch it off and I'm like, what is that? I don't even know where it came from. It doesn't even go here and it's annoying me. If you can't tell, because I keep scratching it till it disappears. No, but yeah, so I got rid of the stain. This is quite the glaring packaging. Sorry. So of course I got the deeper one. I don't know how I feel about this though, because I'm like, this is supposed to be like a highlight, and then, you know, your contour, and then your glow. So as you can see, I dipped into the glow. I used the contour. Obviously I didn't use the highlight because I feel like it's too peach tone for some of my skin tone, but this is supposed to be medium dark palette, so I'm assuming the highlighting part was made more for the medium people, and like, you know, the dark people are just supposed to make these other two products work, because I don't see that working very well on some of my skin tone. I get where they're going with like the banana color, but it's like, why would I want a more peachy pink like under eye look? I guess they're going for that because I see a lot of people, when it goes for darker skin tones, the highlight underneath they make powders that color. I remember Essence had one that was like peachy orangish type shade, but it's like, I prefer powders that look like Pat McGrath's powder for underneath the eye, not a shade like this, and hers doesn't look like that, and neither does Charlotte Tilbury's. Like, nobody's looks like this color from people my skin tone but Natasha, which makes me think like when they focused on highlight, they did more for medium and not dark. But, you know, whatever, I digress. I like the contour in here, okay, and I always like Natasha's highlighters. I will say that I do like her highlighters. Her blushes are okay. Like, this is the only like contour-ish product I have from her, so I need to try this palette out some more before I decide how I feel about it. But I know I'm not going to touch the cream section just because it's not speaking to me at all when it comes to the highlight part. So this is the Diamond and Blush Face Palette. I know Morgan Turner was talking about how she really likes this palette. I think I've only used it once, so I don't really have too many thoughts on it. This is what mine looks like. I got the second one, of course, because the first one isn't really made for my skin tone. It had lighter colors in it, and these colors just work better for someone who looks like me. So again, this is one I need to try out some more, because I usually just use smaller ones. I don't even think to grab these because they're tucked away in a drawer. So maybe if I sit these in the bathroom and take the smaller ones out, I'll be more inclined to use them. But since I feel like these can be used year round and the other ones cannot, I think I'll just leave them back in the drawer where they are, and then maybe in the summertime I'll pull them out and try them then. But I'm trying to keep all the stuff in the bathroom now that I can use in the wintertime, so those three little small ones you saw will go back in there. But yeah, that pretty much completes all my face palettes. I'm sorry I didn't get rid of that much. That's why I said organize and declutter, so that way I can have my little safety net, because I know me and I have a problem with decluttering things. I like to kind of hoard my stuff, if you will. So that completes this video with all the palettes in it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.